All right, in case there's anybody online, I'll start over. My name is Daniel Ziegler with Next Door Photos. So we're your real estate photography partner here at the office. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about video with you. No problem. You guys. I think a lot of agents know that video is important, but they're not necessarily sure why or how to do it well. And so what I want to talk about today is how to do video in such a way that's actually going to be effective for you. And what we mean by effective is really in a way that's going to help you grow your business, because doing video just for the sake of doing video is kind of pointless at the time. We want to make sure that you're actually getting something in return for the effort, because there is time, certainly effort and money that goes into doing video. So, did you get one? Yeah, of course. So that is kind of just what we're going to go over today. Oh, right. Got two different things. All right. So first, I just want to kind of talk a little bit about why video matters, especially in relation to your listings. The first is, social media is a very powerful platform and tool for you to use, but photos and other posts alone are not what gets prioritized. So video is what all of these different platforms are prioritizing. So you need to be taking advantage of video, because just posts alone are not really going to cut it in today's social media environment. And so video is what is driving more engagement and reach. It's far greater than photos or posts alone. So the main thing, though, that we're really going to focus on today is how it's going to build your brand as a real estate agent, and how that building of your brand can get you more accounts. Because at the end of the day, we want to help you grow your business. That's what the whole point is. So your listing video isn't just marketing the home. I think a lot of agents make the mistake of assuming that it's just about marketing the home and trying to sell the house. But the reality is it's helping you grow your business. It's marketing you as the agent. And I think I would even go so far as to say the video is all about you. And you want it to be all about selling you and your services as an agent. You just don't necessarily want your sellers to catch on to that, because they think it's about their house. And it is, but it's really for you. Like, I don't think, to be totally honest with you, I don't think videos really sell houses. Videos help agents sell more houses. So this is my last. So the packet you have in front of you you can either do it however you want. You can either go through it and kind of use it during the class, or you can save it and use it later if you want. So you can use it to kind of learn, and if you either have a real listing or a hypothetical listing or a fellow agent's listing that you want to think about and kind of use this as a worksheet for, you can do that during the class, or you can kind of just think through it, save it for a listing that you have saved. Can you guys hear me okay? I have trouble talking really loudly, so. So the first part, I just want to introduce kind of a formula. I think I have. So I'll pause real quickly. So as you're thinking about a listing, whether you're going to do this now or later, you can kind of put the address at the top there. And then I think it's really important to think through who the target buyer for this house is going to be, because you can kind of tailor your video as if you were talking to that person or that type of person. So what they're going to care about is going to vary greatly, whether they're a first-time buyer or somebody who's downsizing, right? So it's important to know who is going to be most interested in the house. And then the rest of this is going to be a little bit of I'll get to it in just a minute. So the formula, it's just a 4-part formula for creating a great real estate video. The first is honestly the most important, is the hook. So I'm going to talk about all these in detail in just a minute. I'm just going to introduce them right now. Most important is the hook. You want your video to tell a story about the house and about you. You want to kind of call out some features of the home, and you want to have a call to action. I would say that that's the second most important part, because you want to first and foremost engage your audience, make sure they actually watch the video, which is what the hook will do. and then you want to make sure that they know what to do next and how to engage with you after that. So that's the call to action. All right, so like I said, the scroll stopping hook is the most important part. Social media is basically going to decide in the first 1 to 3 seconds whether or not they're going to keep watching your video. So you have so little time to grab their attention. So I would say your video always needs to start with you on camera and with a type of hook, which I'm going to introduce here in a minute. If you start with shots of the home, unless it's just like, you know, a showstopper of a house that's going to, you know, jaw dropper or whatever, like that might stop somebody's scroll. But if it's not that, it needs to start with you saying something that's going to grab attention. Because otherwise, people will scroll right on by. And if they're scrolling right on by, what's the point of doing it? So that's why it's the most important thing. So it helps to start with something kind of unexpected or intriguing. And so the first type of hook that I would recommend is curiosity. So I'll give you some examples of what that might look like. This might be the most unique home in Lexington. You won't believe what's in the backyard of this house. This house looks normal until you see the basement. So those are just silly examples, but like you can use AI is great at kind of coming up with ideas for this. But you want something that's going to create curiosity. And I do have extra. Do you have enough? Because I have enough. So curiosity, that's the first type of hook that you could use. Another is going to be around value. So talking about things, well, I'll just give examples. Here's what $500,000 buys you in Lexington. Here are 3 things that buyers will love about this house. So talking about the value and kind of what you get for your money can be a good hook as well. And of course, it doesn't have to be a high dollar listing to use that, because I think it can be really interesting, especially for out-of-town buyers, to know what does $250,000 buy you in Lexington, right? Like that's a whole lot different than what it buys in California, which is probably not. So, and then the next type would be shock. So kind of similar to curiosity, but these can be a little bit harder to come up with. But you could say something like, I almost didn't list this house, and maybe it's because you almost sold it off market, whatever. This house has a hidden room. So anything that you can use to kind of get people to be really interested right off the bat. And then if all else fails, you can use a visual hook. So this would be something where you're going to be on camera. You're going to be opening the front door dramatically. You're going to be walking through the door while talking, just something that's going to be engaging visually. If there isn't anything that you can come up with that's going to really strike the curiosity front. I think a good option too is starting in the coolest room or space. A lot of agents want to kind of save that for last, right? But you want to flip the script. You want to do the opposite. Start with what's going to get the most attention right off the bat. So if it has a stunning backyard or a really cool bourbon room in the basement or whatever it is, you want to start there because you don't want to bury your lead. Start with what's going to grab attention and then keep them there for the rest of the video. Any question on hooks? This is where you can practice if you want. On that first point there, you can create some hook ideas, or you can save it and kind of use this worksheet as you plan out a video for down the road.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I look at the analytics on the insights, and the 3 second scroll. I mean, that's where you got to capture them. If you get past that 3 seconds, you might get some engagement.
Right.
But however, I might have 1,000 views on a reel, but I got 54% swipe rate, so that's telling me they're not staying there past 3 seconds. And,
right.
I feel like I got good hooks and, or I try to, but I mean, how do you get past that 3 seconds with these videos? I mean, because I'm shooting by myself with a phone, yada, yada, yada. Not a lot of invested in that, trying to learn as much as I can about it. But, got to keep them there a little bit longer, to where they can get, because right now I'm trying to say who I am, what I do right in the first 3 seconds, opposed to waiting to the end of it,
Yeah, and I think that's probably what we need to change. They can see, because of the way social media is set up, they're going to see your name with your host, so you don't need to say your name. And yeah, you want them to know your real estate agent, but probably based on what you're talking about, they can kind of start drawing these conclusions. There's nothing else to it at the end, but I think you to get a higher engagement and get them sticking around past the 3 seconds, I mean, it's gonna take you 5 seconds to say your name.
Exactly.
Right, so
Exactly.
you can't do that, you can't do it. And so I would not, we'll talk about that more, but I would not recommend doing that even on your survey. But that's the thing, like 5, 10 seconds in, and all you said is your name. So, and where you work or whatever, so.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so I mean, I would just skip that and ask a question, like whatever topic that you're trying to talk about in your video, I would ask a question that's gonna cause them to wonder, right? So if it's, you know, I don't know what an example of something that you might talk about, but like, ask a question related to that, and then answer.
Okay, that's good, thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right. So then playing the story, this part is kind of, I don't know. So I mean, the beginning of your story, you need to start with your hook, right? So starting off with, it doesn't actually have to, I shouldn't say that, but I think, you know, if you think in terms of creating curiosity and asking some kind of question or starting with something that's gonna make them wonder and want to stick around, you can weave that into your story, or you can kind of leave it separate, just like, almost like clickbait, right? If you just want them to be like, oh, I can't wait to see the basement of that house, and then stick around for the rest of it. But basically, after your hook, again, after your hook, because that needs to grab them right off the bat, then you can start to talk about the house, right? So, welcome to one of the coolest homes in Lexington. Or you could introduce yourself at that point. I hesitate to recommend that. I think if you feel strongly that your name and like brokerage needs to be on there, maybe use it text, you know, put that on the video rather than saying, because it's not something that people will, like, it's not something for sticking around here, you know, I mean, they start to lose interest. Our attention spans have become so short, it's ridiculous, right? Like, I'm guilty of it too. We all are. So you just can't waste, I would say, you can't waste time on things. You know, if they like what they see, they're going to click on your profile and learn more that way, rather than hearing you say your name. They'll figure all that out by looking at your profile. That's what it's. So anyway, so the story has the beginning, which again is just kind of like welcome to one that it's, I think it can be after the hook or it can be the hook. They can be either or. But welcome to one of the coolest homes in Hyde Park. As an example, discovery. This would be kind of like the transition from the hook and or the beginning to the rest of the video. So let me show you what makes this place special. In the next 60 seconds, I'm going to show you my 3 favorite parts of this house. Something that kind of continues to keep their interest as they're watching. And then highlights. This is where you're going to pick, and we'll talk more about this in just a second, but you're going to pick just a few parts of the home that you really want to call attention to. I think the temptation is that you need to say something about every room. You just don't, right? There are some rooms that either speak for themselves or don't really need commentary. And then closing. This is where the call to action becomes important. I think the standard call to action that I see on a lot of listing videos in particular is, you know, if you're interested in this home, reach out to me for a private tour. And I think that's okay to have there, and the reason is your seller probably expects you to have that in the video, right? Because again, they think the video is selling your house. So, but I would encourage you to have another one, because the reality is, it's probably 1%, if that, of the people watching that particular listing video are actually in the market for a house like that. And so you want the call to action to be something. We'll talk about this more in a minute, but you want it to apply to more people. So we'll talk about what that means, how to do that in just a minute. Any questions before I move on? I'm going through it quick since we got a late start. I don't want to hold you guys too long, but I also don't want to rush it. So if you have questions, stop.
No, I do. Would you advise just that the real format, short format, opposed to long form? Seems like long form is really.
There's a place for both.
Right.
And I think on standard social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, I mean, there even is a place for longer form on TikTok in particular. But YouTube is where I see longer form living and doing well. And that's where you want to cover bigger topics more in depth. And there are ways to figure out what people are looking more. I'm not an expert in this, but you can actually look at analytics to know what are people, you know, in relation to real estate or in relation to buying a home in Kentucky, what are people searching for? What are the topics that they're curious about? And so once you are armed with that knowledge and know what people are looking for, you can create videos around it. And so I think that's where long form content would be great. And a lot of what I'm talking about here probably goes out the window with long form because it's totally different. It's not that same scroll environment where people are just, you know, feasting on the, binging on the, you know, all that stuff. It's what place where people are actually looking to learn, or they're very serious about what they're already trying to look at, as opposed to more.
And I follow some folks on YouTube that are local real estate agents that do extraordinary videos.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're editing these themselves, they're spending a lot of time.
Yeah.
They got a lot of nice overlays, a lot of nice things going on, a lot of information.
Right.
But when I look at their views and what they're offering, they don't have that many views. Okay. So I can post a reel that's 3 minutes on YouTube and within 3 hours have 500, you know, views.
Mm-hmm.
I just posted one this morning, and while we're sitting here, got a notification, had 500 views on Facebook.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
But the same one on YouTube in a long form, like I said, just all these folks are great, and I have 187 views. You know, and been up for a week or a month. Right.
And I think the difference is, it's like, it's just a total difference in the platform, right? I think people on YouTube or, you know, they're getting to that content in a totally different way than they are with social media. So I think there's a lot of differences to be aware there. One of the, there's an agent in Cincinnati that I interviewed for a podcast one time. He has a really successful YouTube channel. He does a lot of relocation business. And so what he does is he goes around Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, and create videos about not just neighborhoods, but like, you know, basically anything that, you know, is what makes it great to live in Cincinnati, what is a great thing. And it's not necessarily posed that way. It's like, he will just create content about the zoo, like we'll take you around the Cincinnati Zoo and like show you this and that. And then of course, you know, people will look into him and find more information about him, and that he's a realtor and he can help them move to Cincinnati. And so it takes a tremendous amount of investment to do a business that way, but he's done it really well. It's taken him a long time to build up that library, but I mean, it continues to work for him long after he created it. It's not like he's only getting return on it for a week. It's out there forever. So it's pretty interesting, but it's very different, I think, from what we're talking about. I think I should have started to say this is, you know, limited kind of to the social media platforms, the short form content. I think a lot of the rules that we're talking about here don't necessarily apply for long form content.
All right.
Yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. It's a good distinction. I wanted to start with this actually at the beginning because it's a really fun success story. So we did a listing video for an agent up in Northern Kentucky a couple weeks ago, and he posted on his social media, and a contact of his, like that was in his network, you know, a friend of his, saw the video and had his house, $1 million listing, listed with another agent, and he didn't like the video that agent had done. He immediately fired that agent and hired him because he wanted a video like the one that he saw. And so it was just a really cool success story that, like, creating these videos and building your brand this way, it works. I'm not saying that it's going to happen like that every time, but I mean, clearly it works. People notice and they see the quality of your marketing and videos that they piece of that. So just a fun success story, because a lot of times I don't get to hear that story or know for a fact that that's what happened, but he called me to say, like, it literally was from that video. He got really about it. It's so cool. All right, so the highlights. This is where you kind of have to be diligent to not be tempted to like talk about the entire house and to drone on and on and on about it. I'm going to be just super direct with that. You really only want to focus on a few standout features. Again, people have very short attention span, so if you're going to, you know, talk for an entire paragraph about the kitchen, you're going to probably lose them. So you need to keep them kind of short. So focus on a few standout features. There's tons of options, right? Like you want to pick things that are actually standout, things that are maybe not on your average listing. Now, if you have a pretty average neighborhood listing and you can't come up with anything super unique, just choose, I think, you know, the 3 parts that buyers are going to like most about that particular home. There's always something that you can pick. But the key is one sentence per highlight. Again, I think we're all tempted. We want to sound intelligent, and so you want to like just keep elaborating, talking more about, you know, the granite and the stainless steel and the this and the that, and it's just not necessary for one. But two, it is going to lose viewers, like they're just going to drop off because guess what? They can see it. They can see that it has stainless steel. They're watching the video, right? Like they can see that it has granite. And yes, like it's I don't want to make you feel bad for calling those things out, especially if there's nothing else to talk about. By all means, do it. But talk about more how the home is going to be used, right? Like instead of talking about the granite or the quartz stainless steel, talk about, you know, this great 8-foot island that's going to be awesome for family gathering. You're going to imagine gathering around with your friend, like paint the picture of what it's going to be like and why it's so great, and not just the part of the finishes, right? You know, so I think that's one distinction that I would encourage you to look at and to think about. And again, just keep it to one sentence. And the benefit of one sentence is now you're not having to memorize this big long script. The hardest part that I see agents doing with video is like struggling to memorize these long scripts, and they get frustrated and just decide it's scrappable pen because they can't do it. And I guess it would be crazy. Who wants to sit there and memorize a long script? It's too hard. And the great news is not only do you not need to do that, better to not do that. So anyway, so that's what I would say about that. So speaking of scripts, take the pressure off. You don't need to memorize a script, but when you're writing one, you're basically just creating an outline. So again, the hook is where you want to spend the most of your time planning, maybe even consulting your thought partner, whichever your preferred AI is, or however you want to do that. But spend a lot of time figuring out what a good hook is going to be. And then you're welcome. So again, grab their attention and then welcome them to the home. This is kind of that transition from the grabbing attention into the rest of the story about the house. And then your 3 features. So again, one sentence each. And I wouldn't even try to focus on memorizing a script as much as like figure out what it is that you like about the primary bathroom or the patio in the backyard or the pool or whatever it is. And then just talk to the camera like you would a buyer as you're giving them a tour. Like, you know, take the pressure off of memorizing a script and just be natural and talk to the camera. We'll talk more about some tips for being on camera in just a second, but that's one of them is talk to the camera like you would a person. And if it helps, talk to the videographer behind you. It's really hard to stare into a camera and be natural. So I tell you all the time, like, look, I'm holding this right here. Just talk to me. Ignore this, right? Like, so. And then your call to action. Again, that's super important, which I don't have a slide for. So we'll stop and talk about that a bit now. So we talked about the whole idea that, like, you know, call me for a private tour is only going to really apply to probably 1% of the video watchers. So you want to come up with other options that you can either replace that with or add to it. Again, your seller might expect to have that in there. So if you want to have, you know, slide that in there, by all means. I would just encourage you to say like, hey, if you're interested in this home, call me for a private tour. If you're looking to buy or sell in the next 6 months, click this, or download my free buyer's guide in the comments, or, you know, come up with some kind of action that they can take to take a next step. You don't want them to just watch it and be like, well, that was cool, on to the next. Like, you want to figure out, people need to be told what to do, right? I mean, plain and simple, they do. You got to tell them what you want them to do next. They're not going to know naturally that they're supposed to call you and say, hey, I want to list my house. And that may be too big of a step to take after this watch, because you probably won't have that awesome $1 million listing fall into your lap after a video watch like my client did last week. So figure out what a sort of intermediate step is. Download my my seller's guide. Download my, you know, first time home buyer, whatever it is. Like, figure out what that next step would be, and then make it very easy for them to take that step. That make sense? Cool. Any questions on that before we move on? All right, so this is my tip section here. So again, I already mentioned this one, but instead of, again, because talking to a camera is really difficult for most people, myself included. talk to the person behind the camera. It makes it a lot more natural. Yeah, so I mean, just talk to a person, and then smile and move. So this one, it probably takes some practice. You know, we all can kind of get nervous and stiffen up in front of the camera. Just try to relax and be natural. Talk with your hands, see if that's natural for you. If not, you know, figure out what you can do with your hands. If not gonna make you look stiff and like a board, you know.
I found most people, if you tie their hands, they could say.
Yep, that's definitely my wife. I find myself doing it more in these kind of environments, but
Right.
yeah, but not normally, I think. Walk through the home again, so movement. So, I mean, you do that when you're doing a tool like a showing or a, you know, whatever with a buyer. So just you kind of emulate that sort of behavior when you're doing the video. Definitely the movement is more natural feeling, and I think it's more engaging. You know, seeing someone standing still is never, you know, I think it'd be fun. I think it's always more fun when you've got a camera kind of following somebody walking by the kitchen island or whatever. The movement is so much more engaging. So walk through the home. Again, kind of the talking with your hands. Use natural gestures, though. I know that's not everybody, so don't do it if it's not you. And then don't sweat the floats, right? The beauty of video is you just stop and restart, or you know, you've got as many takes as you need. And I have so many agents that get flustered and feel bad for the videographer because they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm probably the worst you've ever seen." It's like, what you don't realize, this is 100% of the world. This is probably 90% of agents that we work with. They flub, they struggle, they need a million takes, and that's just part of it. And so don't sweat it. Don't feel bad about it. Just embrace it, but also don't overthink it. Like, you know, I think there's this need to be perfect, and to never stutter, never say like I say constantly. And I think take that pressure off because you just want to be yourself. You just want to come across natural as a person that other people can relate to. And so embrace a little bit of that imperfection. You don't want it to be a crappy video, but you also don't need it to be this 100% polished thing that somebody looking at is like, am I watching some realtor TV show, or is this a real person that I can have a conversation? You know, so you want to be natural. All right. I don't know if I've got this one here. Yeah, I've got a preparation checklist. So we have a pre-shoot checklist, which, you know, is good for your sellers. I think we've got copies of them back there on the screen if we're not out, but you know, there's obviously getting the house ready for photos, and that's stuff that your seller needs to do, decluttering, all those kinds of things. But certainly once you get there, if there's anything that more that needs to be done, that's going to be something you want to focus on right off the bat. Cleaning and decluttering. I do recommend having all lights on, even if there's plenty of natural light. It always just looks better when light fixtures that are existing are on. Opening blinds. Here's my pro tip from a photographer. If you have like the little skinny mini blinds, I recommend just kind of pulling those up. If you have the bigger, you know, plantation blinds or whatever they're called, like the 2-inch ones, those look fine down, just open. The little mini ones, because the gaps between them are so small, it makes it hard to see out the windows. So I recommend either raising them all the way or raising them all to like either halfway or some kind of consistent position, both for photos and video. Moving personal items, you know, you guys know all this stuff. And of course, preparing your script, hook, story, features, and call to action. Your videographer will love you if you do that in advance. You come prepared. Most agents show up, they're like, all right, so what are we doing? I'm like, I don't know, this is your listing, what are we doing? And, you know, we love coaching agents and helping them brainstorm things, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's super helpful and will ultimately lead to a better video if you come prepared. So prepare everything that we've talked about so far today in advance. And then there's always room for that adaptation and kind of fine tuning that as you're shooting the video. But if you at least have some idea of what you want to do and what you want to say, that's pretty helpful. And then during the shoot, I'll rehearse the hook. So rehearsing the hook I do think is important because, again, the most important thing, so that's something that you can not only you want to plan for, but then maybe even spend a little time rehearsing because, and I think it can be fun to bounce that off of other people too, whether that's your family, other agents in the office. ask for their honest feedback. Like, is this a good book? Is this intriguing to you? Does this grab your attention? Because I think, again, it's so important. You just want to make sure that you can really. But then during the shoot, again, we talked about kind of moving through the home. You want to make sure that you're doing that movement. Trust your videographer's direction. Again, they do this every day, so they might have some good tips for you. And do multiple takes. Even if you like the first take, do another one just to have an option. And maybe the second time you'll do it, you'll like it even better. So never feel bad about doing multiple takes, whether it's because you're vlogging or just because you're like, I want to do another one. I want to see if I can do that better. Do multiple takes. Consistency over everything. So pretty much as with everything that you have to do as a realtor, consistency is most important. So figuring out what you can do. It sounds like you're doing video pretty consistent, right? And I think the temptation, at some point is that if you are feeling discouraged or you're not seeing views or the engagement that you want, is to quit. And the most important thing is just keep doing it. Now, maybe not doing the same exact thing. Maybe you need to figure out look for a better way to do things, but just keep doing it because A, it's going to continue building that brand, but B, you're going to get better at it. So just make sure you push through those times when you're discouraged. And here's a quote for you. The agents who win on social media are not the most polished. They are the most consistent. If social media is going to be a part of your strategy, and I would say that it should be, you need to be consistent with it. So here's a challenge for you. Try making one video per week for the next 2 months. Again, it doesn't have to be a listing video. It can be, about different topics within the industry. It can be about different areas of town that you might want to call attention to. You want to position yourself as an expert. So if you're not talking about a listing or about a house, talk about your favorite park or your favorite coffee shop or anything you want. It can be about anything. And just make one video per week for the next 2 months. Start there. You can also, contact other agents in the office. I think most agents are going to be pretty thrilled if you're like, hey, I want to make a video of your listing. Is that cool? Like, they're going to be pretty stoked about that, I imagine. So yeah, that's a great option as well if you don't have your own listing to do that for. That's actually how the agent got that $1 million listing. I did this event. We had like a video open house, so we invited agents to come and make a video. It was a show home, a $2.5 million house, and we just invite agents to come make videos of it because they haven't sold it. It's a little overpriced. And yeah, the seller agent loved it. And honestly, it was a builder loved it too since it was a show home. So the win all around. So that's another idea for you. All right. Well, I've already started talking about some of these, but bonus content ideas. So the three things buyers love about this home. You can do if you've already had a listing on the market that's not sold, or if you have another agent in the office that has a listing, you can use that. Price videos. You can do this honestly for anybody's listing. I think you have to get their permission if I know my rules right, but you could just do a green screen video and have a listing pulled up on Zillow and talk about it. here's what $350,000 gets you in Hamburg or whatever. Neighborhood videos, why people love living in XYZ neighborhood or area of town. Talk about the proximity to Costco or the parks or the schools or whatever it is. That's great content, especially for relocation buyers. If you're moving to XYZ city, Lexington, let's say, watch this before you pick a neighborhood. Talk about what makes different neighborhoods good or bad, I think to say. But talk about traffic, talk about whatever it is, proximity to stores or different things that are either good or bad that they should know. Again, it's a great resource for a relocation buyer. Because that's the kind of content that I think would be great on YouTube. You can people will moving to Lexington, Kentucky or something like that, and then boom, your video pops up and it talks to them about what part of the city they should hit. Story videos. This one's probably rare, but if there's a unique history with a home, you could talk about that. That'd be super fun. And then I love this one, small business highlight videos. So, you know, even if you don't know the owner of their business, like it's a locally owned business, they're going to probably love the extra publicity. And the benefit too is that they're going to start sharing that video as well. So if you create the video, you post it, you tag them, they're going to share it, and all their networks get to see it, and then that's who they're seeing. You. So I think that's a great one. With coffee shops or dog groomer, could be anything. And then lastly, if you don't have a listing, again, we already talked about this, but you can ask a fellow agent if you can make a video of their listing. That video open house we did for that show home, it was not even limited to that particular listing agent's brokerage. It was anything. You know, there's a lot of agents who, especially when you've got a higher end listing like that, those can sit a while and take a little longer to sell. And the higher end ones are great to make videos of because they're always, you know, content. The house almost is the hook, so because people love looking at multi-million-dollar houses. So,
Was that a video that they themselves shot, or was that like a video that was professionally done?
that's one that we did.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do it. You could do your own. You go in there, selfie style or whatever.
Yeah,
Get like our little tripod and set them up and do that. I mean, if you've got the time and want to set up that, then that's well. I can show you the one that he did. Well, I'll figure out how to get it on the big screen, but
do you have another video?
I don't. But it did go over really well. If I could find a listing to do for here in Lexington, I'd be all for it.
I don't know the agent, Kelly Williams got a $6 million one right now. So,
Nice.
I love looking at this.
I know, right? Like everybody does. It's super fun.
Yeah.
Mhm. I wonder if I can get on Facebook. Log in. All right, here it is.
This home is the true definition of luxury living in northern Kentucky. From the award-winning design to the incredible golf course views, every inch of this home was designed to impress. The kitchen is absolutely stunning, featuring high-end Bosch appliances, a massive island, and a huge walk-through pantry. It's the perfect mix of luxury design and everyday functionality. The best part of this home is the outdoor living space overlooking Triple Crown Golf Course, hole number 4, and the lake. Between the covered deck and outdoor fireplace, this is the kind of setup you can enjoy year-round. The lower level was built for entertaining with an incredible bar area and tons of gathering space. Plus, there's even a dedicated room for a golf center, which takes this home to another level. Homes like this don't come around often. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or just want to see some more luxury real estate in northern Kentucky, make sure to follow along and reach out. This home is
I can read you. Yeah, so one just like that with like the caption and all the AI and enhancements. We do AI virtual staging of videos. That would be $350 for like that top end. For that open house event, we did it honestly to try to win business. We wanted to see the quality videos that we can produce. So what we did was actually record the video, like all of the house clips, the B-roll, whatever you want to call it, one time, and then we just had the agent kind of recorded their part on camera. And so we basically created one video, but then we swapped out the agents. So for that, we did it at like $50 a person, just to try to show people what we can do. And that $50 investment got him $1 million listing.
one, we don't have to have contract.
Oh, yeah. Right, absolutely. Yeah, and as your like photography partner here at the office, we have like a bundle deal already. It doesn't include like that kind of video, but it does include a video. It just doesn't have the like caption and some of the deluxe features that that one has, but for photos, drone photos, that video, floor plan, $265.
That works the stage.
The video or no, so that was not the.
So you can do the video, you can just do like through the house video without me being in it, is that part of the?
That's part of the 265, yeah.
Okay. And then can you go over, because I didn't pay upfront, but supposedly you can pay at closing with KW?
Yeah, so it just gets added to your office bill. I don't know if it's
I don't know that.
okay. What's your name?
Renee Schuster.
Okay.
My,
So-
I have the ugly word copy.
So there's, I'll grab you one of our flyers back there, but it shows you there's a little code that you put.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
So we still go to the website?
Yep, just go to the website, but on that first step where you put the address in, there's
Yeah.
for code. I think it's just like KWC X.
Okay.
And for that, that's what we'll able to check out without paying online, and then just don't pay online. It'll still allow you to pay online, but don't do it.
Okay.
It's, you know, I don't know how to turn that off. Well, they don't know how there is no way to turn it off.
Is that for like the user price, so if you wanted to post it like across all platforms you could, or is that just like, you're allowed clients to write that?
Yeah, you can do it anywhere you want. So the way that we do our videos, probably not the trendy one like I showed you, but like our normal video, the one that's included in our package, we give you a branded version and an unbranded version. So the branded one can have your logo, your name, and if you want on it, if you can have you in it, once that free. But then we give you an unbranded one, run it on the MLS, which will let you just stop places on there. Otherwise, you can just put the branded one out there wherever you want.
So this is outside of the videos, but I need a flyer. I don't have to do that. So like when I do the package, like you can it tailor to make a flyer that I can put in my house or that will go like specifically on Facebook.
You can go along with it and have QR code in the video if they want to watch it.
Something like that.
So I can't necessarily create it for you, but we do have, I don't know if I'll be able to log in here and show you all this, but when you place your order, the other thing that's included with your bundle is a listing website. The listing website, right, but built into the listing website is a section called brochures, or marketing, I think it is, marketing brochures, something like that. And so it has templates on there. Literally one click, you can choose social media graphics, you can choose flyer, postcard, any of these things are already created. You click it and boom, it'll automatically pull your photos in and it creates it for you. And then you can customize it.
Repeat that one more time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, so on your, I wish I could pull up an example, but basically when you get your media delivered,
Okay.
assuming that you have the essentials bundle and not just a regular photo package, or you have a KW bundle like I was talking about, 265.
Okay.
There's usually two links in your delivery. One is just like click here to download your media. So if we download it, so you can get off the MLS. The other one is click here to view your listing website. If you click that one, it'll take you to the back end of our listings.necrophotos.com, and that's where you'll see all your properties for one thing, all the past properties that you had us shoot for you in one place, which is nice, so you don't have to come through your inbox. But the other thing is it will show you, if you click on a property, there's like a sidebar of all different kinds of things you can play with. I mean, it has a ton of features. But the one you're looking for is, I can't remember if it's called marketing or brochure, but it's one of those two. Click that, and it's not much addition.
I just got a whole
Uh-oh.
like a flash one. Yeah. Sorry. So I would have to be buying the package with the website on it.
Yep, so you can either choose the KW bundle, which is the 265 package that we talked about, or any of the essential bundles.
You know, if I don't.
Yep, the essential bundle and the KW plus. Essential bundles include the photos, a floor plan, a twilight image, and the listing website, all of that.
Okay.
The KW bundle includes all of that, plus drone photos and video.
Well, and I have the website. I'm like, well, I already have one. Why do I do that?
Yeah, yeah, even if you don't need the website itself,
You know, that's
it has all the stuff. Now, it has it even creates QR codes for you, but the QR codes will go to the, our listing website. So you have to create one for your website,
far, what is your radius going through?
Yeah, I mean, so,
Usual.
yep, Grand Angle, yep. And, we're all the way down in Somerset even. Yeah, we're pretty far at this point, we're all training. And
Not just.
cover, yeah, right through, going west is almost unlimited, and north is almost unlimited, going south, all the way to Somerset. East, I'm not sure exactly where that's all, but if wherever, basically, you can look it on the website, you can also, if it's something out of our service area, you can always email me and ask, and they, whether you're trying to go there. What's the term? Next day for everything. So the only exception there would be if you have a appointment on Saturday, that is back up on Monday. Everything else, any other day. Would be followed.
Did you get counts or have you been seeing them?
Yeah, let me grab some of our flyers right here that tell you about the deal, how it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is, well, you know, for drones now.
Yeah.
You know, it's terrible to do, don't have any of the flyers that have the KW bundle list. I'd appreciate
Let me go back to see if there's any on the wall right there, or they're all scanned.
But what I can do, well, these don't even have.
Oh,
So what I can do though is I can send out an email. I'll send you guys the details on how to book that. I just need your name and email. Make sure that I've got you. Well, I'm glad I looked as well. Most of our team uses one of the floors.
Yeah, this is where you guys see some of the videos and was wondering, the water stuff, like, oh, thank you. Things like, no, especially like top leader, see what she puts in, and then, we now finish. And then something like, are so good, like, we so well, so, but like the higher potential stuff, so, love it. Surprise,
I looked at
Will this do anything for you?
that. To the pre-shoot checklist. So I have more of those shoot, but this is great.
One's for the.
Feel right here. I'll get that.
Yeah, great.
Well, actually.
Yeah, it's a whole career next thing. Yeah, you can have a little. We're not there. What's that? Okay, but I mean.
I didn't mean, I'm just here.
Yeah, I would never do the process for help. And it is fine, yeah, but I probably would not tell you and we're comfortable you're in it. But I think we're comfortable in the situation.
Good, well, you just.
Yeah. So I find, I'm gonna be kind of like that, I thought the lights and now I have to think about it for you. So we like send it, yeah. Like send it on, you know, you're
So we
yeah, fine. For me, where I was, one spot popped up and it's kind of open up. From there's a testing place outside of airport, may not be in the height. I got to say, I got it on Friday and then we're good. So, yeah, like open the right for you to do that. Not sure what you think, you know, for testing. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. And